So you're thinking about data analytics? Here it is, the complete data analytics roadmap for 2026. We're going to go from zero to job ready.
Look, if you're a beginner, I bet you're feeling a little overwhelmed, right? There are so many tools, so many skills, it's easy to get confused about where to even begin. Trust me, we've all been there. But this right here, this is designed to cut through all of that noise. What we're doing today is laying out a clear step-by-step path. Following this can literally save you months, maybe even years of just spinning your wheels, trying to figure it all out on your own. So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the analyst's mindset, which is so important. Then we'll get into mastering the core tools. After that, we'll talk about turning data into a story, what's happening with AI, how to solve real business problems, and then wrap it all up with how to get yourself truly job ready. All right, let's start with the most critical piece of the puzzle. Honestly, this is where most beginners go wrong. It's not about the tools you know, it's all about how you think. I see it all the time. People jump straight into learning something like SQL or Python, but they skip the foundational thinking. And guess what? They get stuck. You have to remember this. The tools don't make you an analyst. Your mindset does. That's step one. Your journey really begins once you get these 4 types of analytics. First, descriptive analytics just tells you what happened. Pretty simple. Then, diagnostic helps you figure out why it happened. Next, predictive helps you forecast what will probably happen next. And finally, prescriptive tells you what you should do about it. This is the framework for everything. Next up, statistics. Now hold on. Don't let that word scare you. You do not need to be some kind of math wizard, I promise. You just need to get the hang of these core ideas. Think of them as your detective tools. For instance, descriptive stats might tell you sales dropped by 10%. That's the what. But something like correlation could help you see its link to a competitor's new ad campaign. See? That's the why. Okay, so once you've got that solid foundation in place, now we can get into the practical stuff, mastering the tools you'll use every single day. But hang on, before we even list a single tool, I need to tell you something really, really important. Real-world data is messy. I mean, very messy. It's never going to be the nice, clean spreadsheet you see in a tutorial. You've got to be ready for that. You're going to be dealing with missing values all the time, duplicate entries, dates in 10 different formats, just all sorts of weird validation problems. This is why data cleaning isn't some boring chore. It is one of the most critical, valuable skills you will ever develop. So here's your path. Just follow it step by step. You're going to start with Excel, getting really good at pivot tables and Power Query. Then you move on to SQL, which is totally non-negotiable for pulling data. Step 3 is Python, where you'll use awesome libraries like Pandas to work with data. And finally, you bring it all to life with visualization tools like Power BI or Tableau to build dashboards that actually tell a story. Now, having all those technical skills is great. It really is. But making sure your work actually matters to the business, well, that's a whole other ballgame, and it's arguably even more important. Just think about it for a second. Your analysis is completely useless if you can't explain it to someone who's not a data nerd. Data storytelling, that skill of turning cold, hard numbers into a clear, convincing story, is what separates the good analysts from the great ones. This is what makes you truly valuable. All right, let's talk about the future. Because, well, it's already here. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, you have to get that AI is completely changing the game for analytics. So what does this mean for your job? Well, analysts are now using AI to help with really complex analysis. They're using generative AI to spot insights they might have missed, and they're automating all the boring reporting tasks. So instead of spending hours digging for a trend, you can just ask an AI tool, hey, what drove our customer churn last quarter? And boom, you get an answer in seconds. That's AI in your workflow. And let me be crystal clear about this. This is not optional. If you ignore AI, you will fall behind. It's really that simple. You have to start thinking of it as a powerful partner that's going to make you a faster, smarter analyst. So this all leads to a really important question. Why are we even learning all this stuff? The goal isn't just to play with data. It's about creating real, tangible value by solving actual business problems. This slide, this is a huge mindset shift. So many beginners get stuck on the left side of this chart. They focus on tasks, on tools. I built a dashboard. I ran a query. But companies don't pay you for tasks. They pay for outcomes. They want measurable impact, they want better decisions, and they want their problems solved. That is where your focus has to be. And that brings us to the final, and let's be honest, the most exciting part, taking all these skills and actually turning them into a career. I'm going to be very direct with you here. You can watch 1,000 tutorials, but without a portfolio of real-world projects, you are not job ready. Period. End of story. Your portfolio is the proof. It's how you show an employer you can handle messy data and actually deliver insights. So, these are your final steps to getting that first role. Step 1, build that strong portfolio to show what you can do. Next, create a resume that screams impact from your projects. Then, you practice telling the story of your work in your interviews. These are the steps that take you from just learning to actually earning. And this is a sad reality for so many people who try to get into this field. They get stuck. They learn a little bit of this, a little bit of that, with no real plan. They're just learning randomly, and they end up wasting months, sometimes even years, just feeling lost and not making any real progress. So now you have a choice to make. You can go down that same random, frustrating path, or you can follow a structured, guided roadmap like the one we've just laid out for you. This path is clear, it works, and it will get you where you want to go. The choice is yours.